Summer Turner taught ESL at a college in Florida for 20 years ago. She often observed the effects of cross-cultural miscommunication by body language. The fifth speech from the Confident Communication Manual highlights the use of gestures and body language, as Marcia said, will be in her speech. Summer has decided to take this idea to the max in the 5 to 7 minutes speech by focusing on gestures and body language as a topic. In her speech, which is called The Language of Respect, Summer will be using quite a few gestures. Many of them not very nice. But please welcome Summer to the podium.
Fellow Toastmasters, we have a problem. Globalization means that more and more we are communicating with people from other cultures. A prominent anthropologist says that 65% of social meaning comes through our gestures, only 35% from our actual words. Guess what? Many of our gestures are considered extremely rude in other cultures. Therefore, we need to learn what our gestures mean to people in other cultures, and we need to learn how to interpret any gestures they might make to us. For example, you're walking down the street in Tibet and you pass some guy and he sticks out his tongue at you. Well, you're kind of taken aback, but you figure that he's got some problem and you continue taking your little stroll. More people pass you and all of them are sticking their tongue out at you. By the time you get back to your hotel, you are acting out histrionically because you're very upset and angry until your hotel concierge explains that in Tibet, sticking out your tongue is a sign of respect. Or let's say that you are in high-level talks with the Russians and your goal is to prevent World War III. The Russians suddenly stand up, clasp their hands over their head like this, and you're thinking, they're declaring victory? You're not having any of that. You storm out of the room because you didn't know that to the Russians, this is a sign of hospitality. Some of the miscommunication problems come because some of our gestures mean the exact opposite in other cultures. We nod our head yes, we shake our head no, and we think that's universal. It isn't. In Arab countries and in the Philippines, it's the exact opposite. And what about waving goodbye or hello? In Arab countries and in Spain, this means come here. So you can imagine the problems of interpretation these gestures can cause when they mean the opposite. We Americans are very positive people, and we like to show encouragement. And so we might give a thumbs up or make the circle of perfection. These are extremely rude and nasty gestures in many other cultures. You might think that a smile is universal, and for the most part, that's true. Just keep in mind that in Greece, people smile to express happiness. They also smile to express sadness. I assume they know the difference. What about when you're handing somebody, say, a piece of paper? We use one hand. We use two hands if it's an awkward size or if it's heavy. But in Japan, it's rude to hand something over to somebody with one hand. You use two hands to be respectful. What about eye contact? We make eye contact to show we're interested, we're paying attention. In Japan, that's very rude. That's aggressive. Same with shaking hands. We shake hands to show enthusiasm and confidence. And in Japan, that's extremely aggressive. And from them, you will receive a very light handshake. We also use our hands in another way that's very rude. Americans are finger pointers. This is very rude to other cultures. And all the Asian countries use their whole hand. As if finger pointing weren't bad enough, there's one other gesture that we make, especially men in meetings. This is something that I once demonstrated in a class. I had an Arab student sitting next to me. He agreed to this. He said, no, I won't be insulted, not a problem. So he's sitting next to me, and I began saying very nice things to him and about him. And I asked the non-Arab students in the class to figure out what am I doing to insult him. The funny thing was, the longer this went on, the more upset he was really getting, until finally he said, please, please, Summer, end this. I can't take it. And the other students were consternated. What was my insult? The bottom of my shoe was facing him. No matter what I was saying with my words, wonderful student, wonderful person, he was getting upset because what my body was saying was, you are worth less than the dirt on the bottom of my shoe. Can't get any worse than that. As you can see, many of our innocent, well-intended gestures are very rude to people, and they're not communicating at all what we meant. We intend to treat everyone with respect, but to really communicate respectfully to people of other cultures, we must learn their language of respect. I leave you with this final tip. Next time you're in Tibet, go ahead and stick out your tongue. Madam Toastmaster,